Hi, my name is Alex from VapinUSA. Today I want to show you guys how to prime a Cartomizer. Before I jump right into it and show you guys how to prime it, I want to explain its functions. First things first, you're going to remove these two plastic rings, and sometimes there's this little white cap, this thing right here, and this will be in the top of the Cartomizer. So if you don't see it when you pull off this, you want to make sure you get a pin and pop it out real quick. Boom. And then you want to remove the bottom end as well. Alright, so now in the center of the Cartomizer you will see a white polyfill material, kind of looks like cotton, and that runs from the bottom all the way to the top. And then in the center of that there's a coil. The white polyfill acts as a sponge, and then the coil then heats up that sponge to produce the vapor. So there's two holes in the bottom of the Cartomizer that once the Cartomizer is placed inside the tank, the juice gets dragged through those holes when you inhale on the tank and saturates the entire polyfill of the Cartomizer. However, initially it's not going to be able to bring in enough juice simply by dragging on it to get the entire polyfill nice and moist. So what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to manually saturate that polyfill. So what I do is I drip the juice down the side of the Cartomizer until there's a nice little puddle there. And you want to avoid the center hole, because what you're going to do next is you're going to put your mouth around the Cartomizer and blow it down. And by blowing it down, it pushes the juice to the lower levels of the polyfill, so you're ensuring that the entire Cartomizer from top to bottom is nice and saturated. We're going to keep repeating this process until you see juice bubble out of one of these two holes at the bottom, and that will tell you that it's fully primed, that the juice has traveled all the way from the top and down the bottom. And if you are careful and avoid getting any juice down the center hole, no juice should come out of this very bottom part. Usually this takes about 7 to 8 times before it's fully primed. You'll know it's fully primed because you'll see some juice bubble out of these two side holes at the bottom, and you could also gauge how close you are to completing it by how dark the holes get. With the more liquid in there, the darker it gets. There we go. Got a little bit coming out. And then I just like to do it one more time just for safe measure. So now that you have the Cartomizer itself primed, what you want to do is get it in your tank and fill it up. So how I do it is I push it in through the top. And you'll notice the top, because the top is the smooth area, the bottom has some little grooves on it. And then I leave it, I don't push it all the way through, I leave a nice little gap, and that way I could drip the juice in here. And now you're going to want to try to avoid getting any juice down the center of the Cartomizer, but if you do, it's not the end of the world. So I just fill it up a little bit and scoot it up. Fill it up. And that's close enough for me. So then you just push it through. Then you're going to want to clean off the bottom, remove all the juice so that you don't get juice all over the contact on your battery. Screw it all down. And then now, since the Cartomizer itself threads onto the battery and the tank just kind of floats on the Cartomizer, when you're going and screwing this down and screwing it off, you want to be very careful that you're not screwing on or off the tank and you're just removing the Cartomizer, because if you pull up on this Cartomizer tank right now, the juice will spill everywhere and your Cartomizer will still be screwed in. In the event that the cartomizer is still too dry and you start getting a burnt taste, what you can do is take a few puffs without pressing the power button, and that's going to suck some more juice in through the 2 holes on the bottom and resaturate the cartomizer. And now while I do this, you may see some bubbles coming out, and that's just telling you that the juice is being sucked in. Alright, and now for the second method. What you're going to do is you're going to remove these little plastic rings. 1 down. 2. So with the larger one, what you're going to do is you're going to fill it up with the liquid about, I would say, 2/3 of the way. Alright. And now you're just going to push the cartomizer in from the bottom. And you're going to do this very slowly. And as you push down, you'll see the juice rising at the top of the cartomizer. And you want to make sure you're pushing slow enough so that the juice isn't overflowing from the top. And sometimes you'll have to stop and give it a second to come down. Pull it up a little bit. And then push it down. And now you want to wait, I don't know, 30 seconds to a minute. Make sure it's getting nice and saturated in there. Pull it back up. You'll see the liquid start draining out the bottom a little bit. That's just the excess juice. Then you push it down one more time. So now when you pull it out, you can see that the entire cartomizer has been saturated with the juice. Blow it out. And it's good to go. So now you just fill it up the same way you filled up the last one. And again, I personally like to fill it from the bottom. So I'll push it through right here, just until the point where you could see. Tilt the bottle sideways and drip it down the side. Then you just push the cartomizer through until it's flush on the top. Then you're going to just clean it off. And then now at this point you'd want to look inside the cartomizer again, and if it's dry, then you're going to want to take some dry hits to make sure you get it fully saturated. But right now it's plenty wet, so we don't need to do that. So we're just going to screw it on, and we're ready to vape.